Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Doctor. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest. It is my day off, and I am getting ready to go outside and play with the dogs and have a lot of fun with Giant. If you are new to the channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are trying to hit 5,000 subscribers so that I can get sponsored. It would really help me out. Well, Mobius was a surprise. Yeah, nobody pretty much saw Mobius coming. So, the question we're going to be asking is, what are the Mobius cards, and should you pull them? And I think that's an interesting question, and I think it's interesting too, because there's no mention of Rain, and essentially they're splitting up the Rain banner, very similar to what they did with Odin and Miranda. One important thing to note, though, is that Mobius is going to be ending in the next week or so. So I think they probably wanted to have this event before Mobius actually ended, because it would probably be just a little bit weird to have Mobius cards when the game doesn't exist anymore. Well, let's go over the cards, and then we'll talk about whether or not you should pull. Hope and Fantasy of Mobius. This is probably the card that I'm more excited for. And it's pretty rare that I'm more excited for an MR card than a UR card, and we'll talk about why, but the effect is agility plus 8%, and the party ability effect is going to be ice attack resistance plus 15. Of course, we just got Victoria, who is a predominantly ice attack unit, and that ice attack resistance plus 15 for the party ability is one of the only cards that is going to add ice resistance to the party. And it has the wonderful effect of agility plus 8%, which is always going to be wanted in an additional single unit effect. For Despair and Truth, this is going to be the UR card on the banner. It is going to have pretty nice stats, but this card is very singly focused. The single unit effect is magic plus 15%. The party ability is going to be shooting attack resistance plus 20. Important things to note on this card, there is HP 320 at fully maxed out, and then it does have a 172 magic associated with it with 12 attack. So you're really only going to want to be putting this on maybe a Spellblade user or a caster, and it has the sole use of preventing shooting attacks and boosting magic damage. And while I think this is actually pretty good, I'll always take more shooting attack resistance, I actually think it's going to be a very terrible card to chase, and we'll talk a little bit about that after we finish talking about what we might be able to expect from an event or any Mobius type event. So in JP, they did have a Mobius event that happened, and I can't tell if it happened alongside the Rain event. I do believe it does, but essentially it gave anyone in JP 2,800 Visior. It was a 7-day logging campaign, and I know there was no information about a logging campaign when we were doing, when we were reading all of the news that came out. So this is a possibility of what our logging campaign can be. Pretty cool that we would get the Hope and Fantasy of Mobius card free, potentially. I'm always down for something like that. And interestingly, it's a 7-day logging campaign, apparently, but when we get our logging campaigns, they're usually 5 days and 2,500 Lapis. So I'm kind of interested to see if we do get the 7-day campaign or not. And of course, I really hope we get the Hope and Fantasy of Mobius card for free. In addition to that, we're probably going to get shards in the shop somehow. They had 25 and 20 of the shards purchasable from Rain's shop, and I don't think we're going to be getting Rain this week. I really think that would be awkward and weird. However, you never know. It would just be really, I don't know, it would be like throwing the schedule out the window. And at this point, who really has any idea? So I'm wondering if they're going to split the banners and potentially just have a shop with 25 and 20 tokens for the cards. It's what would make sense to me. It seems weird, though, that they would separate it from the Rain banner. Again, Just things I'm thinking about. Other things I'm looking at, we also got, or they also got in JP, challenge missions bingo, and they got 2 of them. And the first one, or sorry, this is the same one, but it's, you have the clear mission quests, and then you have the how many lines you've completed quests. And you can see that they got an additional 20 and an additional 25 tokens. Holy God, I cannot talk today. Unit shards. This did come out with an event called FFBE the Musical, and I can't read this, and I have no idea what it says, but maybe we'll see something similar to that. It was supposed to be a collab with Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. So at this point, we're just going to throw everything out the window. We have no idea what's coming. But I do hope that we are going to get these 50 and these 40 card shards. It would make sense to me, and it would really make chasing these cards, if you are going to chase them, a little bit easier for you guys out there. Now, the question is, do I think you should pull on these cards? And if you're trying to pull for the UR card, my answer is going to be a hard no. And let's talk about that. So, Despair of Truth and Mobius, some of the pros, magic plus 15% is always nice, and the magic base stat on this 172 is very high, and it would be an amazing card. If you are a mega whale, if you're like, yes, I need to get every limited time card, this card will serve you really well. Has high base magic. You already get 50 shards accessible if we get the same event as JP, and it's going to be better than a lot of comparable cards. If you are free to play though, or if you're like me who's a dolphin, you're probably asking the question I ask, why do I want this card if I have Cleansing the Mind? Obviously the magic is going to be really important, but most of the time I'm not running a magic comp. It could be potentially really good with maybe a Ramza, could be really good with like a Ramza Medina or some other composition in this shooting meta. However, most of the time I'm just going to run Cleansing the Mind because I personally, even as a deep dolphin, like I would consider myself a deep dolphin or a whale, I will not be pulling hard for this shit. I might pull, I might do like a guaranteed UR pull, or, you know, if there's a trap step up pull, I'll definitely be doing that. But I have Cleansing the Mind. Like, I don't have a need for a card that has really high magic. Yes, there is a magic meta that's going to be coming in JP. Honestly, if there's a magic meta coming in JP, I'm not going to use a card that has shooting attack resistance plus 20 on it. I'm probably going to be using my Ramu card for magic. I'm probably going to be using Trousseau. I have many other options that both boost my magic for my party better and my team. I feel like shooting attack resistance plus 20 is niche. If I needed to fill that niche, most of the time Cleansing the Mind is going to do the job. And honestly, I feel like chasing it is really for the super whales. It's a very specific card built towards mages, and anytime there's a limited time card, I'm just going to recommend you probably shouldn't chase it. Now, I do have different feelings on Hope and Fantasy of Mobius. We are giving it free, potentially. We're also going to be given a free 40 shards, which means we're going to need about in the neighborhood of 160 shards, which means we are going to need a lot of dupes in order to max it. But that party-wide ice resistance plus 15% is very powerful. That agility plus 8% is going to be very powerful as well. It is an MR card, so it is going to be easier to max out. It is going to have, you know, potentially be given for free, but it counters a lot of units, and I think it's important to have that ice resistance, especially when you're looking at units like Shiva, who only add a single effect of ice resistance plus 10%. I think we underestimate how powerful ice units are because we frequently don't see ice units with the best equipment available. What do I mean by that? Well, until now, we've never had a Frostbrand event. Until now, we've never had an Ice Spear event. If you're looking at Ice Spear for Victora, for example, it has ice attack times 30, or plus 30 on it. That's crazy. How are you going to mitigate that damage? Like, in what world and how are you going to mitigate that damage to your characters? if you don't have an ice attack resistance card. Sure, you could maybe, lower the piercing resistance, but it's still a huge modifier, and you're gonna need something to defend yourself against it. I think this card is gonna be very powerful. We also have Agrius coming out in the future. We always have Medina to worry about. And then if you're fighting against those 1 in 100 Gilgameshes, God bless your soul. You're probably dead anyway, but maybe this could save your ass. Some cons for it. It is going to be limited time. It's very highly specific. Again, ice resistance for your whole party is specific, very similar to the UR card that we just talked about. And even with free shards, you would still need dupes to max it out. And I think that's the hardest thing, is if I've learned anything from pulling for Sid or pulling for Ramza, chasing dupes is always a mistake if you're pulling unlimited time banners in this game. You really just want to farm the shards. That's all you want to do. You're going to be dumping so many resources probably to get this card, and you never know. Maybe they'll release like a guaranteed way to max this card out. I seriously doubt it, and I don't think that's going to happen. But you never know. Maybe they'll offer something exclusive to Global, whether it's like a higher rated summon or whatever it is, and that could happen. I think it's plausible because we're really in unknown territory currently. We could get like a story event for it or something. Like we could get the craziest shit that JP never got. So always a potential there. If there is some type of opportunity to get more shards, you may want to seriously consider maxing this card out. I do think it would be valuable for you in the future. I don't think I'll be pulling on this banner though. Thank you so much for watching, guys. As always, I do appreciate your support. Make sure if you are planning to pull on this banner, if you are looking to use Amazon coins to get that discount on Visior, that you do use my affiliate link, dig.gs/coins. It is down in my description. It does save you 20% on Visior, and it does help support me and the channel without directly giving money to me. Also, make sure you come hang out in our Discord. We have a very lively community. We love hearing from you guys. And if you ever want your account reviewed or anything like that, the announcements that are in the Discord are going to be the way to go. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.